Sup flappers, welcome back to another video, and sorry that I missed my live stream for yesterday. I got caught up with some real life work that I really just could not push off, so I had to go deal with that. Instead, the live stream will be pushed towards tonight, so 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can come back to this YouTube channel if this is your first time on my channel. You'll see me live here. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff, including going a little more in depth regarding the topic of discussion for this video, and that is artifact grinding. All right, so I'm sure this is yet again another controversial topic, but I'm pretty sure I am on the side of the player base this time. And not because I want to echo what the players are saying, but there is a problem. I mean, there are a multitude of problems that are caused by the essential artifact system, right? And of course, we have to go through this bit by bit. We have to cover the player's perspective. We have to cover miHoYo's perspective, which doesn't look good, all right? I'm just gonna preface that right now. So let's start the video now. Since the very beginning, I mean, artifact grinding has been an essential part of the Genshin experience. It actually is safe to say that artifacts plays the biggest role when it comes to power in a character. You can easily take a level 1 character and slap on god tier artifacts and have them clear some content without ever needing to level them up at all, right? It's just artifacts account for too much. I think it's safe to say that herein lies one of the bigger problems, is that too much is allocated into the artifacts without enough being allocated into, let's say, skill and just gameplay in general. And as if that was not bad enough, these artifacts can take people sometimes from a couple of weeks to upwards of a couple of months to find proper well-built sets. Now I'm talking about free-to-plays. Now if you're a whale who can drop hundreds if not thousands of dollars on the game every single month, you're not going to feel it as bad. But even for whales, you guys will see that they don't feel comfortable, not all of them at least, to being forced to go through this endless grind cycle for artifacts. And the reason why I wanted to make this video was because a viewer of mine actually sent me a video to a CN live streamer who recently deleted all the artifacts in his account. Now he did this as a stance that he was taking against miHoYo and the way they have designed the artifact system. Now, without going into too much detail, I'm going to show you some of the footage on screen. I'll also link the link of that video down in the comments, and I do feel the frustration with this person because down in the comments they did mention that, you know, the reason they're doing this is to start something, to start and show miHoYo and to show other people that if we make enough noise, if we do something about this, not everybody has to delete their artifacts, but if we make noise, if we truly want change, then we have to try to get it ourselves, right? And I do believe that. I really do. The issue with the artifact system is that miHoYo is slowly developing more niche artifacts that are allocated to specific characters. So meaning that if you farmed a specific set of artifacts for a certain character, in the future a new character comes out, you're gonna find it very difficult to share certain artifacts. And this wasn't always the case. Back when the game just started, the Noblesse set was so popular. Currently, the Crimson Witch set is still wildly popular with many different characters, but it stands to reason that if you need more than one character to use the same artifact set, then the best way to be fully efficient is to farm multiple sets of the same artifact. It's a very tedious process. I mean, most people may not want to challenge the Spiral Abyss, but I want to take a guess and assume most people have challenged at least a couple artifact domains here and there, correct? And what are your experiences when it comes to artifact grinding? Because personally, the reason that it's called grinding, it's because it is repetitive. It is mind-numbingly repetitive to the point where imagine doing certain runs that are the same over and over again with no end in sight, and also knowing that in the future things could change at a moment's notice depending on how miHoYo wants to proceed with the game. And in that regards, you should be following some people's content when it comes to predicting the future and making guesstimations as to potential changes. Just saying. like and subscribe. So when we brand artifact grinding into the category of quote-unquote content, people sometimes can have a relatively strong reaction towards that, because many people say, well, artifact grinding isn't content. Artifact grinding is the gate that stops you from truly enjoying the content the game has to offer, and if you don't somehow pass this gate, you're gonna be severely handicapped to actually enjoying proper content. While the other group saying, well, since it's a part of the game, artifact grinding is a part of the content of the game, right? If we have to define it, it is a part of the game, therefore it is a part of the game's content, therefore content. But I get it, all right? You know, I'm actually very curious as to which side you're on. Please comment below if you watch this point. Do you believe that artifact grinding, this mindless process of getting better artifacts for your characters, do you think that is a part of the content that Genshin Impact has to offer? Or do you think that artifact grinding is not a part of the content? Alright? Please, try to keep it civil. I know this is going to be a tough video to make and talk about. I think artifact is probably the most openly debated issue when it comes to Genshin Impact. Now, going forward, from miHoYo's perspective. Now, I know you guys are gonna quote me and say, you sound like you're, talking for miHoYo. No, I am not talking for miHoYo. I am talking in the mindset of miHoYo. I'm trying to tell you guys what miHoYo's thought process is here, all right? What they're thinking is premium, custom, luxury. All right, these three words, it's premium, it's customizable, and it's a luxurious experience. You don't actually need god tier artifacts to beat the game. You don't actually need to farm specific artifacts to beat the game. You don't need to go so hardcore as to pair the best possible set. There are many different possibilities when it comes to customizing your characters with certain artifacts, right? The best in slot artifacts, yes, they do exist, but if you already have something that kind of works, do you really need to go in and spend tens of thousands of resin to get something new, right? And then the final word, which was luxury, that chef's kiss being, my character is perfected. miHoYo is utilizing these categories to, in a way, manipulate players' emotions and their desires to build these characters. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like miHoYo doesn't know why we want to farm new artifacts. You just want to power up the characters and challenge more difficult content. Now, I made a video talking about the Spiral Abyss yesterday, and it's generating a bit of heat and discussion, but it's all in good faith. I do think that the player base has a point in that there's no point in challenging boring, repetitive content that are gated by damage. But then on the flip side, how do we design a game that is not balanced around damage, right? We could have a survival mode, we could have escort mode, like it's just not non-combat related is possible, but it's not exciting in the sense that you're still not really taking these characters and their kits and utilizing them. It's a tricky position for miHoYo to be in, but the way they've set up artifacts is 100% a way to keep the money flowing in between banners. Now, the best way for players to utilize their resin is essentially to farm domains and artifacts to power up, because sometimes multiple characters can share an artifact set, and if you manage to get yourself these perfect artifacts, then you're gonna be real happy with all these characters, right? Then there's another thing. miHoYo has made different pieces of the artifacts scale with certain characters, right? The Sands has 5 different ones. We got attack percentage, defense, HP, elemental mastery, energy recharge, and then we got the elemental goblets, also including physical damage, and then the headpieces with the crit rate, the blah 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. Now, figuring out this jigsaw puzzle of artifact pairing is already a little tricky to some players. Now, think about finding a specific piece with a specific main stat with the perfect substat rolls. That is what the crown jewel is. That's what artifact grinding is all about. And of course, miHoYo knows this, so they're trying to build characters and design them to be utilizing different stats as to make sure people can't share artifacts. I think it's a pretty shady thing, and I'm sure a lot of you can feel the raging fire burning in your bellies just think about this. But please, we have to do this in a civilized manner, right? What are some of the potential solutions to this issue? If MiHoYo made all characters scaled with attack percentage, is that better? If they made all characters scale with HP, is that better? I do think having variance in different characters scaling off of different stats and their strength and weaknesses are something that we should take pride in when playing Genshin Impact. A character like Hu Tao scales off of HP but also has to play at half HP. You know, it does sound a little counterintuitive, but at the end of the day, it is something that highlights her kit and makes her different from other characters. Also, if you find crappy artifacts, you can always hold on to them and wait for future characters that come out that can actually use the stat of said artifacts. And it leads us into the last topic of this video, which is that MiHoYo's targets have always been and always will be the Giga Whales. You know, you guys probably don't know this. For the vast majority of you who watch this video, you're not Giga Whales who spend full refills farming for artifacts, but in actuality, the box space for Giga Whales are actually not enough. I know multiple Giga Whales, Leviathans, they farm artifacts and then they hoard a ton of these artifacts in preparation for new character releases. So they'll hold on to a piece in every category that is god tier, and even substats, they try to hold on to different ruled substat for sands. For every artifact set, they hold on attack, defense, HP, elemental mastery, energy recharge with different substat rules. And let me tell you, MiHoYo knows this, right? In the very beginning, we probably thought to ourselves, looking at our storage space, and like, wow, couple thousand, that's very generous. But the game plan had been set in stone from the very beginning. Now, this is not some tinfoil hat talking. If you do the math yourselves, people, it's very easy to see that if you want to be prepared for future characters with different artifact sets, how much space would you actually need? And if you want to have all your characters having their specific sets as well, so you don't have to switch things around to get confused, listen, there's a reason why artifact preset isn't here yet. There is a reason why MiHoYo makes it so difficult to calibrate certain things in the game. It's all to urge you towards the direction to farm more artifacts, right? The more artifacts you farm, the more resin you burn towards it, the more it keeps you occupied doing something. At the end of the day, it's really shady business, and I do think a change is very needed in the current system when it comes to artifact grinding. I know there's the strong box, I know there's many different ways you can get your hands on different pieces of artifacts, and over time you're definitely building towards perfect artifact sets for all your characters, but we're talking like years and years down the road for most players. And at the end of the day, it's just not fun, right? It's not fun sitting here going through the same domain over and over again, and for free-to-play players, you're only going to be able to do it for like 20-30 minutes a day with all your resin, and you're done. And then tomorrow you come back for the exact same thing. It's not engaging. It's not something people look forward to. What we're looking forward to are the results that these artifacts can bestow upon our characters in the long run. All right, with that said, I hope to see you guys all in the live stream so we can talk more about this issue. And if you have any more questions, or if you disagree completely and think, you know, the artifact system, it's perfect, I don't think we need to change anything, stop by, let me know. I always welcome open discussions as long as you remain civilized and non-hostile. We can talk this out like normal human beings. Don't need to make this personal, people, all right? And also stay safe down in the comments. If you guys see someone being unreasonable, call them out, and I'll be reading the comments and responding to them as I go. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later. Till then, stay safe and peace.